Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whenever you're watching this. It is I, Jim Lettuce, your fearless leader, your host with the most, Lettuce Man himself. This is Vlog Season 8, Episode 2. Technically, this is for February 2024, but who's counting? I waited too late again. Don't worry, I should do the March one before April starts, but we'll see. And to be honest, I think my mic input is messed up. It sounds weird. So I'm going to try to reset everything and start a new project and unplug everything and plug it in and start from scratch. Maybe that's why it sounds so weird. I don't know. Because it didn't sound like this before. But anyways, I digress. Welcome to the show. This is the vlog. So yeah, let's get it going. First of all, I'm so hyped right now. You want to know why the thumbnail has a ripped dude on their front? It's because I just got my blood test back. And you know how you go to the doctor, you're supposed to get your blood looked at once a year, or it's every 6 months or something. Anyways, the point is, I just got my numbers back and everything looks good. I'm pretty healthy actually. But they also test your testosterone. And y'all, I'm so hyped. I didn't realize that my testosterone was this high. Apparently, it's very high, especially for my age. I don't like to go into my age, but let's just say it's way higher than it should be. Apparently, I have twice the amount of testosterone as an 18-year-old male, which is crazy. It should be a lot lower, and I looked up the numbers. You've probably heard a lot of people talking about how testosterone is lower nowadays. And it was higher back in the 80s apparently. Yo, my testosterone is higher than the average male from the 80s. Isn't that crazy? That's wild. I didn't realize that. So I'm not as old and frail as I thought I was. So hell yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to brag about that. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's see. Where's my notes? Okay, so let's do a business update for TemporarySpaceStudios. Our short film for Blazer Gibson is almost done. I just got it back from the special effects guy. They look good. I'm going to upload it to our website. So check out our website, TemporarySpaceStudios.com. That's what our streaming service is. If you want to watch the short film, that's where it's going to be. It might end up on the YouTube channel in the future eventually. But for now, our business model is that website, among other things like our t-shirts, but I'll promote all that stuff at the end. The point is, Blazer Gibson is almost done. I had to cancel story blocks for a while because of money, but that's not the business, that's me personal. I got personal stuff. I just owe money right now. It's fine. I'm not going broke or anything. I just gotta be stingy with my money for the next few months. Otherwise, it should be alright. Also, the episode 3 of Impractical Mind is on the way. That's the third episode of this failed web series I made, which is on the website as well. Once Storyblocks gets back reinstated, I'll be able to use the sound effects to finish that. We got a new podcast episode out. It is, I don't remember what episode it is, but the point is, it's the second one for this year. I think it's episode 28? I don't know, I should have looked it up before I started this, but whatever, it is what it is. Also, our podcast is officially on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so if you're into that thing, that's where you can find it. It's also on YouTube as well. I think I might put it on other ones, but to be honest, I don't care about the other platforms. I don't think they are important. Maybe I should, but, it is what it is. Furthermore, we just paid our taxes. Woo! We officially made more money this year than last year. We're still operating at a loss, but our revenue is growing. That's right, investors. Our revenue is growing. Okay. What's the next thing on the list? Oh, let's talk about The Wire, okay? I'm always in the search for a new show because I like watching shows, and having to find a new one is such a pain. And whenever I find one that has 8 or 9 seasons, that's the best. But so The Wire, it has like 5 or 6 seasons, which is great, but I lost interest in it. So season 1, obviously a hit. Season 2 was kind of boring, and I thought, okay, if season 3 doesn't keep me, I'm done. And sure enough, season 3, it made me lose interest. Like, the main character, I guess the main character is, what is his name? Hold on, let's pull it up. The Wire. So this is the show about police trying to catch drug dealers with wiretaps. And Idris Elba, this is kind of where he blew up. But he's not really the star. The main star is a guy named Dominic West. He plays Jimmy McNulty, who's one of the detectives. And it just got boring. Like, there's these side characters named... Who are they? These two... they're also detectives, but they kind of had their own thing going on. I think it was... I can't find his name. One of them is Dominic Lombardozzi, Detective Herc, and the other guy is Seth Gillum. So it's Carver and Herc, I think. They were actually really fun side characters, and in season 3, they were literally like super side characters, as in their plotline had nothing to do with the main plotline, not even indirectly, and that made me disappointed. And they focused a lot on the docks, which was interesting. I mean, you got to do something new for season 3, because how it goes is season 2 is you flip everything on its side, but then season 3 is a new villain. So they had that right. They had like the it was like the Turkish mafia, I guess, and it was just, the reason I lost interest was they were building up these characters. This one guy, the guy who stars in the Halo show, he's, what's his name? Alright, now I gotta look that up. IMDb Halo TV series. What's the main guy? He's related to Liev Schreiber. Pablo Schreiber. Okay, he was the guy who starred in that movie Den of Thieves, which is a really badass show. But unfortunately, his character didn't do much either. Like, they had his character who like worked at the docks. He was the nephew of this other guy who was like the lead of the docks. I can't think of his name either. What is his name? I wish you could look up IMDb for season 2, right? Maybe it'll show me season 2. Frank Sabatka. Okay, that's the guy who was the head of the harbor. He had a nephew who was Pablo Schreiber, and then he had a son who was this guy. I can't think of his name, but he was like he was a screw up, right? And he was actually a very interesting character as well. Like, the guy Pablo Schreiber was kind of like the right-hand man to Frank Sabatka, and he was helping the most with all the crime on the docks. But then his son, who was a total screw-up, he was actually very interesting, because at one point he ends up like killing this guy. And the main reason I lost interest in season 3 is because at the very end, spoiler alert, they nullified all the problems. They were going to catch him, the Frank Sabatka, the main dock guy. He was also head of the union, and they were trying to crack down on him. And at the very end, he got out on a technicality, and he didn't get in trouble with any of the crimes. And he ends up just stepping down and being a regular dock worker. And then the son who murdered a guy, he actually just went to prison, and that was it. Nothing happened with him, you know. And see, the Turkish mafia was like, we're going to help him get out. We're going to protect him. And Frank Sabatka's son, who's Pablo Schreiber, the guy from Halo, we'll just call him Master Chief, okay? But at the very end, Master Chief, he quits the dock. And there's like a scene at the end where he's like looking at the docks, and he actually was turning a witness. Like, Frank Sabatka wouldn't do it. He wouldn't turn as a witness, but Master Chief did turn as a witness with the Wire people. And so I thought, oh, you know, the Turkish mafia is going to turn on him. They're going to try to kill him. He's going to fight back, and it'll keep going. No, he was just walking, looking at the docks, and he was all sad. And then there was this car following him, and I thought, oh, they're going to shoot him or something. Nothing. He just walks away into the sunset like Shane, and at the end of the season, I was like, that's it? Like, the worst thing you can do in a show is have all these plot points and then completely nullify them at the end. Worst case scenario, you nullify them at the beginning of the next season. That's actually what they did at the beginning of season 3. They kind of nullified a lot of the stuff that happened in season 2, which is egregious. I don't like it, but it's a lot better than killing everything at the very end. I mean, that's almost as bad as what they did with Game of Thrones, where they just kind of killed everything before the end of the season. So lame. So, unfortunately, my big show that I was watching, that's done. Hopefully, the new one I found, which is The Blacklist, which has like 10 seasons, hopefully that one will keep my interest. I don't know if it will. We'll see. So, I'll let you know how that goes. What else? Oh, I got scammed like an idiot. I feel like a boomer. I got one of those scam texts where it's like, oh, there's a problem with your package. Click here. And I thought, my first thought was, oh, that's a scam. I've learned this over the years that your gut feeling usually is right. Whatever your first thought is, that's usually the correct one, unless you're an idiot. But however, I was waiting for my passport in the mail. And I just renewed my passport because I'm trying to travel in the next few years. We'll see how that actually goes with the economy, and we might go to war. So who knows? But I got my passport, right? However, I thought it was a scam, but then I thought, oh no, it's not a scam because it's talking about my passport. So I clicked it and I typed in my credit card like an idiot. Like, I'm the boomer, okay? I feel like such an idiot. Luckily, I realized it while I was doing it, so I immediately called my bank. I canceled all my cards and got new ones, so no fraudulent charges occurred. Right after that, I changed all the passwords on everything. That's good advice. You should change your passwords on everything every 6 months. That's what I do. Usually every 6 months to a year, I completely change passwords for everything. Do not use the same password. Don't use anything identifiable like your maiden name, your street you grew up on. What I do is I come up with completely random numbers, symbols, and uppercase, lowercase, all that jazz. The longer the better. I used to have 8 characters, but now I make everything 10 characters, and I'll probably increase that to like 15 characters in the next few years. But honestly, that's what everyone should do. First one I changed was my bank. So learn from me. If you get a weird message that says click here, just don't be a boomer idiot like me. Okay? What else? I want to talk about my iPhone review. iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I gave a review initially in the last episode, I think. However, this is a 6-month review or 6 month plus. It's been less than a year. My opinion is slightly changed, but it's still positive. So it's great. I love it. I'm never going back to Android. The user experience alone is worth it, okay? But let's talk about that. So with an Android, let's go backwards. The analogy for Android and iPhone is this one with the car. It's like with the junker car that you work on in your garage versus like the super future Tesla smart car. This is a very accurate analogy still, okay? Android is like that car you tinker with in the garage, okay? You can tinker with it and you can make it faster and more efficient and more powerful than the future smart car. But you have to tinker it. You have to tinker with it every day. So with an Android, you have to change everything 100% of the time. Every update, you always got to manipulate the settings, and it's a pain. If you don't mind doing that, if you're into that like I used to be, it's cool, but you have to do it all the time, every day, especially after an update. However, with the iPhone, you don't have to do that. But I've learned in the last 6 months that It's great 99% of the time, but 1% of the time it sucks. So it's like 99% of it is I don't have to change anything. Everything just does what I want. It's great. But there's 1% where it'll do something and you think, why is it like that? That's dumb. And you cannot change it at all. There's nothing you can do. Whereas with the Android, you can always fix whatever is wrong with it, but you gotta fix it all the time. So yeah, I'm not too happy with that, and it definitely overheats a lot, especially when I'm playing Diablo Immortal, which is a bummer. I had to like lower the settings on Diablo, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going back. Overall, I like it. I do not regret switching to iPhone. So yeah, there's my review. I think that's it. Oh wait, no. I forgot to review Warrior. So I really like Warrior, but overall it's kind of meh, and I'll tell you why. So Warrior is a show on, I think it started on Max, but it has since moved to Netflix because I talked about this on the podcast. Netflix is the only streaming service that is making consistent growing profits, even compared to like Disney Plus and I think Disney Plus is the only big one that's actually working, but they're still not doing as well as Netflix. And Max is included in that. Max is not doing that well. They're starting to, license their exclusive, formerly exclusive shows on Netflix. Warrior is one of them. So Warrior is about this, it's like in the turn of the century, we're talking, I think it's like right before World War One, or maybe it's right after World War One. Definitely before World War Two, and it is about this Chinese immigrant who comes to America looking for his sister, and he kind of gets involved with the Chinese mafia, but in America, and it's actually a really good show. I really like it. I like the lead actor. What's his name? Let's see. Let's look it up. He plays a character named Assam. Warrior. This girl at work put me on it. Shout out to Bella. What is his name? Andrew Koji. Okay, look out for him. He's a big star, rising star. I think any investors in Hollywood need to put all their money on this guy. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see what his upcoming projects are as far as actors. He was in Bullet Train. He was in Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe movie from 2021, which is actually really good. You should really check that out. Hell yeah, he's got 4 upcoming things. Gangs of London, which I think is a show that's already out. Rob and Lucy, which is a short. Worth the Wait, 16. What? Listen, I don't know who listens to my podcast. I'd like to think Netflix does because of my Netflix podcast, but you need to invest in this guy. He's a big star in my opinion. He's really good. He's got that star power, that charisma, you know what I mean? But anyways, let's go back to Warrior. So a good thing to know about this show is that it came from the mind of Bruce Lee. I think he might have wrote a script or had a treatment made or whatever. This was something he was planning to make before he died. And there's a lot of callbacks to Bruce Lee. It's a martial arts show as well as kind of like a raunchy HBO drama. Like there's sex and nudity and stuff if you're into that. I'm not into that. I'm a good Christian boy. I would never do that. But anyways, there's a lot of Bruce Lee moves that he does. And he does like the nose wipe. And what's really interesting is it's not just him. There's a few other characters that also do Bruce Lee stuff, which is cool. Like, he's part of a gang called the Hopway, and then I think the other gang is called the Hong Fi. I think I said that wrong. But the point is, his sister is like the lead of the other gang, and they're always fighting each other. But she's got a right-hand man who fights with Assam, the main character. And they butt heads a lot. They have really cool fight scenes. What's that guy's name? Let's see. His name is Joe Talsim. He's a badass. He was in that movie The Raid Redemption, which is really cool. He played Jaka, the SWAT team captain. He has a great death scene in that movie. Spoiler alert, the movie's like 8 years old, but maybe it might be 10 by now. Also, by the way, that guy ages like wine, dude. He looks great. You can't tell. I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's 25. It's great. Maybe late 20s, early 30s, but I'm pretty sure he's older than that, and he looks great. They fight a lot, but he also does Bruce Lee stuff. And then they have a new guy that showed up in season 3. What is his name? I can't think of his name, but he's a guy who shows up as like, he's another immigrant who gets called in as like reinforcements from like the main China mafia in the mainland, and he's a badass. He seems kind of, you're not sure what to make of him, but he actually does a lot of Bruce Lee mannerisms as well, and he's like this badass. He uses that like chain as his weapon, and he's like kind of hard to read, but you figure out that he's actually, so far, he's a pretty good guy. There's like a 1% chance he might turn out to be a villain later, but he's really cool as well, and they kind of have this gang with the main guy, the nephew of the leader of their gang, played by Jason Tobin. He plays Young Jin. He's pretty good as well. He was in Fast and Furious 3, the Tokyo one. He was like one of the side characters, but it's cool to see him shine as a star, or at the very least a strong second lead. I think, Netflix, if you're watching, he needs to get his own show too. At the very least, you should invest more resources in him. But he's good. I like him. I want to give a shout out to the guy who plays Richard Lee, Tom Weston Jones. He's also a really strong character. I think you should invest in him as well. And we need to get an honorable mention. The guy who plays Bill O'Hara. He's also really good. Don't count him out. I think he's a strong supporting actor. I don't know about a lead per se. I'm not saying he can't be a lead, but I think he could win an Academy Award for supporting character. He's really good. Also, the guy who plays Wong Chow, he's kind of like this business guy who sells like weapons to people, but he's also friends with the cops. His name is Hoon Lee. He's really good. I like him too. He should get his own show as well. All in all, it's a really good show. The season 3 is kind of disappointing, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's super corny though, so if you like corny, somebody asked me to describe the show in one sentence. The best way to describe it is, it's like Peaky Blinders, but with Asian guys. And I mean that in the best way. If you like Peaky Blinders, that kind of like fun, stylish, a little bit over the top, with charismatic characters and actors, gangsters. If you like gangster stuff, but you also kind of like a guilty pleasure, but Asian dudes, like this is your show. It's really good. And we need more martial arts shows. I'm not even a martial arts guy, but there's just not enough shows with martial arts. Even like MMA. I know there's this one show that was like MMA stuff. I think it's still going. I don't know what it's called. That's a good show too, but that's about it. So we need more martial arts shows. Anyways, I think that's about it. What are we at? 24 minutes? Not bad, not bad. Anyways, thanks for watching / listening. I should be back before the end of the month with the new one, the new episode of the vlog. I'm trying to do a podcast and a vlog every month now. So if you want to support us, click the links below. On YouTube, it is our website, which is TemporarySpaceStudios.com. That's our streaming service. Check that out. It's like $4.99 a month or $39.99 a year. You can do the annual one. That's what we like. But you can also do the weekly if you don't want to pay $40 to watch one thing. Cancel anytime. There's like a 3-day free trial. The other way to support us, which is a really good way, is our merch store, which is lettuswearclothing.com, LettuceWear clothing.com. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you click the link on our website, it'll take you to there. That's actually a really good way to support us. Even though we don't make too much profit per shirt, that goes directly towards helping us do stuff like make more content. Trying to buy that new Elgato, so that'll help me if you want to see more high quality 4K gaming. Check that out. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter at LetUsGem. We have an Instagram, but I think I'm done with Instagram. It's such a closed off platform, you know. You can't post links. You can only do a link like in the description of your page, which is kind of stupid. So it is what it is. Click the links below, support us. Yeah. Anyways, I'm your host, Jim Lettuce. Drive safe and shit.